Are you ready to reclaim joy in your life? Why joy? Why now? Welcome to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei, your joy guru. While the world looks like it's at a breaking point, burnout, stress, isolation, and overwhelm dominate the headlines. Within all this, there's a longing for something deeper, something that heals beyond the mind. Joy fuels health, sparks expansive thought, aligns us spiritually, and connects us to one another. Join me as I weave astrology, intuition, and modern psychology to ignite your soul's highest alignment. Each week I sit down with luminous guests who embody joy as a spiritual path, a creative force, and a way of life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the joy. Because when joy rules, transformation becomes inevitable. Hello, my playmates for the soul. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I just get more and more excited for each show. I mean, I hope you're receiving this, any of you who are listening or watching. So I'm going to do a little 2-3 minute cosmic weather report, state of the universe. And then I'm going to bring on my beautiful luminous guest in the nest today, my friend and dear friend, Cindy. So I want to say I decided I'm going to say three things on my cosmic weather, so you can really use them as takeaways always. And the first one is that we're in a last quarter moon now. We're in a plow under the crops, let it all go, cry, purge, clean out. I took my Christmas tree down. I'm about to clean out the fridge after the show. Seriously, I'm going to Windex the back door. Anything you can do to create space for what seeds you choose to plant at the Pisces new moon on March 18th. So that's the first thing that I want to say. Mercury, the planet of communication, that little guy with the giant reputation, has appearing to go backwards, what we call retrograde, and that this will be until the 20th of March. Mercury retrograde, hopefully, so we're 2 weeks into it, hopefully you have had reframes in your life in these last couple of weeks where all of a sudden you were in a conversation with someone or maybe just on your own meditating or walking and you think about something in your life and you go, I never thought of it that way. Or you hear something and it causes you to make a different choice and you go, oh my God, this pattern has dogged me my whole life. Now I understand what it's all about. So lots of light bulbs can go off. But a Mercury retrograde is a time to slow down, to move slower, to talk slower, to think slower, to review and reflect and reevaluate. All the rewords. Pay attention to the rewords now. They're going to be all over the place. So that's the other thing. And on March 20th is also the spring equinox. The whole year starts astrologically. Yes, we started the emotional year on the Lunar New Year with the fire horse. We start the year consciously always on the spring equinox. So Mercury goes direct, same day as the spring equinox, and then get this, my playmates for the soul, until May 6th, all the planets are moving forward. All the planets are going direct from March 20th to May 6th. So if you're getting something off the ground, if you've been sitting on stuff and you go, why isn't it time yet? Because it hasn't been time yet. And that can be your ignition window. I'm going to be launching a YouTube channel during that time. I know sometime in April. And so anything and then we're going to have a whole Aries lineup, but that's another show. I mean, as I said, if you feel that you've been standing on the sidelines of your life, or you've got something you've been excited about, but it hasn't happened and whatever, get ready. What you need to be doing now, in my humble opinion, and not so humble opinion, is let go, release, all those things that I said before, by March 20th. So I would not try to make anything happen between now and then, in this next week. The best thing you can do for yourself and your soul, more rest, conversations that feed your soul, and just downtime to commune with the divine. What a perfect lead-in, Cindy. And talking about communing with the divine, my luminous guest in the nest, Cindy Kubica, I love you so much. And I want to say, this show is about joy. The astrology piece is a valuable piece, but the show is about joy. remember how I've shared with all of you that relationships have a signature. Like you have a chart, someone else has a chart. The relationship is the midpoint of those two charts. Well, Cindy and I, our moon, the moon of our relationship, the underlying feeling energy is Leo, which is the sign of joy. So we have always, and I've always been on the other side. She's been interviewing me, or I've been talking about stuff on her Energized Living Today. So, and I just want to say before I have you speak, because this came to me, you are such a beautiful combination. The Pisces. Pisces is one of the two most spiritual signs in the zodiac and one of the two most creative. And many Pisces do one or the other. They can be very spiritual, but not necessarily creating things, etc. Or they're creative, they're in the arts, they're in the entertainment business, and their spiritual life is, non-existent or whatever. Hard for a Pisces, but it can happen. You have blended, you have married, it must be your Libra moon, to me, both of those. You've done all these creative, anyway, so I love you, and I love the fact that you are calling yourself now, because you have many titles, as most of us do, but a storm oracle. So why don't you speak to that as a...
First of all, I want to say I love you too. And I am just so honored that I am here to be a part of Joy Rules. And you found your lane. You found your lane, and I am so glad to see it. So grateful, so filled with joy to see this manifesting in your life. So that is so cool.
Thank you, Cindy.
Being a storm oracle, that's not something I named myself. My guides named me that. I have a counsel of wisdom that speaks to me, and this started when I was 10 years old, and after a near-death experience in 1967. But I didn't know who they were, and I didn't know how to always interact until two more near-death experiences. And then that opened me up. When you have a near-death experience, it cracks you open like nothing else does and gives you access to the other side. It opens up a part of the brain that doesn't always open otherwise. Some people are gifted right away. Mine took a couple of broken necks. So that's what happened to me, and it just broke me open and gave me access. And during 2020, that access became louder because of the rippling of the veil. Now, the rippling of the veil happens, Lorelei, when there's death in mass. When people are leaving, it ripples the veil and gives many people more access. That's why so many people reported being more psychic than before. Mm-hmm. More, their intuition was just on high alert. Well, it's the survival, and it's hearing that ripple or seeing through that rippling of the veil.
And you said on January 2nd, you heard a voice that said death is coming, right?
That was actually July 2nd.
19.
July 2nd.
Oh, July 2nd.
2019. Yeah. July 2nd, 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. And my husband and I were in the kitchen, and I heard death is coming. And I'm like, Gary, did you hear that? He didn't hear anything. And so I wrote it on the calendar. And then in November, I heard death is here. And then when I came back we went to Orlando, talk about joy. We went to Orlando for our anniversary on the 31st and went to, to the parks down there and just had a joy-filled time. But I got sick and nobody knew what was wrong with me. And so when I came back, I walked in the house and passed out on the couch. Couldn't even, I'm a marathoner, so I couldn't even make it up the steps. And so for weeks, I was stuck on the couch, and I kept hearing, don't go to the hospital. They won't know what to do for you. It's not that they're inept. They don't know about this. And I'm like, about what? And so as I was sick, and talk about another near death, this would have been, maybe it was 4, I don't know. But I found myself communing with people on the other side and seeing everything that was about to transpire. But here's the thing about storms, Lorelei, that I would like everyone to remember. Storms, while they make us angry, fearful, upset, they also create purpose. And from that purpose, joy erupts spontaneously, and it's joy that keeps us in the moment. It keeps us present. And it's those little things that when chaos can be happening in our lives, that joy erupts and it brings us right back to the present. And we suddenly, you do?
I totally relate to what you're saying in my own health adventure. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like a joy has been birthed in me as a result of that experience. And so in hearing about the you being a storm oracle and the book, so just tell us a little bit about how the book then got birthed really during that time.
Well, in 1967, as I said, I had a near-death experience. I was thrown from a pony and hit a tree. And I remember seeing the tree in front of me, like everything was so slow motion. I saw my sister slide off her pony when hers bucked. Mine didn't buck. He turned to the right. And when he turned, he stopped. And I saw the tree in front of me. And then I remember an electrical storm in my body. It went up into my head, down my arms, and just through my whole being. And my first thought when I landed is I landed on the electric fence. Well, the electric fence wasn't on. I had broken my neck, my shoulder, damaged my left eye, and sometime when I was unconscious, my sister went and found my dad, who was out deer hunting. And he came to get me, and I was out in the woods, and he ran up to the house. And I woke up for just a second, and I saw my arm flopping around, and my thought was, oh no, another broken arm. And then all of a sudden, I'm outside of his body, watching him run toward me. I'm outside of my body, watching him run towards me. And I see this fear in his face. But then I could see beyond that fear. And what I saw was compassion and love for this rag doll he was holding. And I was watching it just flop around, not understanding that it was me. That didn't matter. What mattered was his face and his love for this rag doll. And that's when I stepped out of my body and had my first vision of the storms coming. And I was told that this one storm would become 7. And then to link that to 2020, when I was sick, I was told, well, actually, when I was 10, I was told that they were plagues. They were 7 plagues.
And before you continue, at 10, you were given your mission statement by God, correct? Didn't
Oh,
God
yes.
say? So what did you hear?
Well, I was told to hand
Seek
out
wisdom
blankets.
is what you said.
Yeah. Oh, seek wisdom. Yes.
Yeah.
I was told to seek wisdom right after I woke up, and I don't even know how long I was unconscious, how long I was gone. I woke up and I had a cast from here to here on. I was in my bed. I have no idea how many days it was. Nobody would talk about it after that. Nobody talked about it. Next thing I knew, the ponies were gone. My sister was angry at me because the ponies had been gone, and it changed our whole family. The whole family dynamic changed. So, but when I woke up, I heard, "Do you know you can't see your own face?" And it scared me the first time I heard it, and I went and hobbled into bed with Mom and Dad. And then the next night they said, okay, you can't sleep with us. You got to sleep in your own bed. So I'm closing my eyes, and as I do, I hear again, "Do you know you can't see your own face?" And I said, who is this? This is God. God, I can't talk to you. I'm Catholic. I have to go to Mary. Mary goes to Jesus. Jesus comes to you. And he says, no, I'm your friend, and you can talk to me always. I am always with you. And I said, well, then what do you mean I can't see my own face? And I kept trying to, like I was going like, as 10-year-olds do. I'm trying to go from, all I see is the side of my nose, but I can't see my face. And that's what scared me, not the voice. It was the fact that I couldn't see my own face is what caused me fear. And so I said, what do you mean by I can't see my own face? You can't, but others can, and they'll know what's going on inside you. Whether that's a storm or if that's joy, people will know. And he continued, Cindy, your life isn't going to be easy. But know that I'm with you. And I ask that you seek wisdom. And when you understand that wisdom, pass it on to others who need to learn this wisdom. And so that was my mission statement that I got at 10 years old. And from that time on, Lorelei, I had a fascination with storms, with death, and with wisdom. And those are the things that, it just set me on a path to understand those things. What creates a storm? The weather that creates this, all of these, the wind, the temperature, all of these things that create this dynamic to cause this huge storm. And then what happens after the storm? We get a calm.
Yeah.
And what comes out after that? The rainbow of hope, the rainbow of joy.
Oh my God. Whenever I listen to you, and I said this to you on our connection call, and I've said it to you before, your voice, your Mars, what drives you is in Taurus. And your voice is so soothing and so calm and so reassuring. And, it's like you talk about all the storms and that, but you talk about it in a way that people can hear things that they're not able to hear about storms. And when I was re-listening to or watching our connection call, you have so many beautiful creation statements, for lack of a better word, but like talk about storm damage, that we all have storm damage. I just thought that was a brilliant way of.
When I was shown the Seven Storms Uprooting Humanity, what I was shown is, yes, we can see these in world leaders. We can recognize envy, willful ignorance, deceit, division, prejudice, judgment, and rebellion for rebellion's sake. And each one of those things destroys something that we say that we honor, which is trust, wisdom, truth, unity, acceptance, compassion, and order. These are all the things that we say that we honor. And yet somebody else can influence us and tell us that, no, let's focus on the storm, not our virtues that they destroy. And that is, hearing that is because of our own storm damage. Like we're drawn to things because of what has happened in our own life. And yes, I can relate to that because so-and-so did this to me. And so we're drawn into a storm. Somebody else can draw us into a storm and we lose our way. But how we reverse that is to reverse the orders of the storms. And that's what my book is all about, is how do we reverse the order of the storm? We look at order and we create order within self. You were just saying, this is the last quarter moon. What do? You let go, you clean out things. And then on March 18th, is it? You said we plant the seeds again. There is order in that.
Yes.
It's not just show up on March 18th and plant a seed.
Yeah.
There is an order to get there. So how do we get there? We put things back in order. Order with compassion, not judgment, because judgment will never get a seed to grow. It is compassion with acceptance. When we accept this is what's happening and I'm in control of my own storm damage and the wisdom that that brings for me, then there is unity. You unite with the truth of who you are.
Yes.
You unite with the truth of what's going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when we find out that we are all one.
Such a beautiful Pisces statement.
We are all one. And once we find out that this is the truth, this is what's true. And once we get there, this is the wisdom of the universe speaking to us through our own storm damage.
Yes.
Giving us purpose. And it's then and only then can trust be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Trust can be rebuilt, and it can. And it's in that moment, Lorelei, that joy erupts out of the simplest things. Like when we are, crazy. Can I tell you a story
Please.
about that real quick? Okay.
Yeah.
After my dad, my dad died in 2020. And right in the midst of all of this, and I was asked to meet with our community every single day, right in the middle of trying to grieve, and it was such a hard time. I was in such joy because I just had my granddaughter, Katie, was born on March 11th.
Oh.
And yeah, she was born on March 11th. And my dad had promised that he would stick around until Katie was born. And so we called him the day that I was in Oregon with Sarah, and Katie was having a hard time making her presence. so they had to do a C-section. And so they wheeled her off. And of course I called Dad and I said, Katie's on her way. And he was just, oh, my Sarah, oh, my Katie, my first great-great-granddaughter. And he was so excited. You could just hear the joy in him. And then he didn't get to see her because they went on, they closed down at the hospital he was in. They closed everything so we wouldn't have his iPad so he could see her. But the next day they sent him back to the nursing home, and through the window, my aunt was out there, my sister, and held up pictures of Katie.
Oh.
And we tried to FaceTime there, but Dad couldn't receive it, on his machine that he had. He wasn't able to operate it. But he saw her pictures. And then he smiled, he gave thumbs up, and 2 hours later, he closed his eyes for the last time.
Wow.
In that moment, so many promises were kept. So many promises. He promised Sarah that he would stick around till Katie was born. He promised himself that he would be there when he died. He always said, I want to be there when I die. I don't want to be all drugged out. So he refused the drugs. So he was totally present when he took his last breath. And he promised he would sneak out the back door. His attendant left him for just a moment, went out in the hallway. She came back in, and he was gone. Mm-hmm. From all of this, all our sorrow, we can look at the promises kept, and the joy still to this day just ripples through me. Yeah. He got everything he wanted. He kept his promises to all of us, and most of all, he kept the promises to himself. Yeah. Yes, that storm damage is there. It still hurts. But my joy comes from knowing that he kept the promises to himself. And isn't that all any of us can do, is keep our promises to self?
Yeah, I mean, the storm, the calm, and the rainbow. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. And, I was just thinking, because you're a Pisces sun and you have Mercury in Pisces and Venus. So Venus is what we love and what brings us joy. So everything Pisces brings you joy. You know, people can have Venus in Pisces and not be Pisces, but you have all that whole stellium, what we call, in Pisces. And I was thinking of something else. It's all down in the bottom of the chart, in the Cancer part of the chart, and you talk about shelter from the storm and the hope blankets that you distributed. And I know we're pretty
And we're
much
running out of time.
down to our last. Well, we're going to be doing more shows because when your book comes out, we'll talk more. But what would you like to leave people with in terms of when they're in the middle of a storm? You've already said
When,
it, but in summing it up,
yeah, when you're in the middle of a storm, know that there's going to be moments of joy that just pop up. After my dad died, he kept leaving dimes for all of us kids. There were dimes everywhere. And I was upset one day and I tried to close this junk drawer and it got caught and I couldn't slam it shut. So I just started throwing everything in my anger and grief. I just started throwing everything on the countertop and there was this little box and I pulled it out and there was something in it. And so I ripped off the top in my anger and in it was a single dime. I started laughing. I was so full of joy in that moment. And it was one of the most healing things that could have happened. So look for the joy in the moment, even when the storms are all around you.
yeah. Well, I adore you. I am so excited uh, because you've met so many challenges in your life, and I so see the Pisces in you, the kindness, the compassion, the forgiveness, the creativity, the wanting to help, the hope blankets. And I'm so honored and grateful to be a part of your life in all the contexts that we've shared. So we will do this again, my sweet friend, and I love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you so much. And next time I will talk more about the hope blankets and what that means.
Wonderful. And
That's a
until we
teaser.
connect, folks, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars. Thank you for listening to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei Robbins, your joy guru. If this episode sparked something in you, don't keep joy to yourself. Share and spread the light. Tune in the second and fourth Friday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Transformation Talk, where together we reclaim joy as the foundation for transformation. To dive deeper, visit me at joyrules.com. And remember, joy isn't optional, it's essential. And visit joyrules.com for lots more joy. Until next time, keep choosing joy and join the joy revolution. And until we connect, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.